Hey GK, it's time to do some math. So today we're going to continue working on our larger number studies packet. So we're looking at 3 more numbers today. So let's go over our objective and hop right in. Objective is what we are going to learn. I can write and show 14, 15, and 16. So yesterday we worked all the way up from 11 to 13. Now we're going to talk about 14, 15, and 16. So let's get started. We're going to start with number 14. And with 14, I want to show you how we're going to write it. In your number studies packet, you do begin with tracing. So go ahead and trace, and then when we write it by ourselves, we'll talk about how we do that. So with 14, we're going to make a 1 and a 4. So I'm starting on my left side, making my 1 all the way from top to bottom, and my 4. Making sure I leave finger space in between my numbers here, about 2 fingers, 1 and a 4, 1 and a 4. And remember yesterday we talked about at pattern how all of our numbers between 10 and 20 have a 1 in the front. And then the second number goes up each time, just like when we talk about from 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 13 ending in a 3. Now 14, think about the name, 14 ends in a 4. Let's move on to our number line here. We know that all of these numbers are bigger than 10, so let's see how many more bigger than 10 14 is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 4 more than 10. So I'm going to find 4 more than 10. Put my dot there, and that is 14. Yesterday, we also talked about our 10 frames. And remember, all of these numbers, since they're bigger than 10, I'm going to have an entire 10 frame filled. Because just like when we talk about Gus the Plus, we know that we need to add some more numbers to this 10 frame to make 14, to make all those numbers that are bigger than 10. So let's fill out our top 10 frame first and then figure out how many more we're going to need to add from our second 10 frame. So here I go, filling out my first 10 frame. Then I will move on to my second 10 frame. Always go from left to right, even when we're filling in our 10 frames here. And 10. So that's one whole 10 frame. Now we know we have 10. We need to see how many more we're going to fill out for 14. So we have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I filled in 4 more boxes from my other 10 frame to make 14. Let's double check here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we know that we could take 10 and add 4 more to make 14. How cool is that? Now, we're going to look at 15 next. And just like I did yesterday, I'm just going to erase this part, but I want to leave my 10 frames so we can see how we can build on our numbers to make them bigger. I also want to point out in your number study packet, you also have a box to draw that many things. Since I'm not doing it up here, I'm going to leave that part up to you. If you would like to show me this many things of an item, so like 14 bows, 14 smiley faces, 14 trees, you may do that. It's optional. I know that you guys know how to count at this point, so it's up to you. Because you've shown me such amazing work so far, I'm going to leave that part optional. Let's work on 15. Okay, let's talk about 15. Thinking about our pattern here, if 14 was a 1 and a 4, 15 is going to be a 1 and a 5. A 1 and a 5. 5 comes after 4. So here I go. I'm going to make my 1 and my 5. Make sure you guys start with your tracing and then show me writing by yourself. 1, 5, 1, 5. That's 15. Now I'm going to find 15 on my number line. One way you could do it is by counting, or you could find where we just were at 14. Look at the next one. We're going in order, so I know that 15 is 1 bigger than 14, so that's where I'm going to put my dot. Or you could count from 1, or you could start at 10 and find the 15. How many more than 10 is 15? Let's see. If we start at 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We know that 15 is 5 more than 10. So if we added 5 to 10, we would get 15. When we did 14, we added 4 more of our 10 frames. When we looked at 14, we added 4 frames to 10. And we just said that if we added 5 to 10, we could make 15. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill in 1 more of my frames, and we're going to count and see if we're right, if we get 15. So here I go. I'm filling in 1 more. Now let's count all of these frames and see if it makes 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So if we add 5 to 10, we get 15. That's awesome. Let's talk about 16 next, okay? I'm going to again leave my 10 frames the same and just erase this part. Okay, let's talk about 16. So if we know that 15 was a 1 and a 5, what is 16 going to be? A 1 and a 6. So I'm going to start with my 1 and my 6. Remember, we're starting from the top when we make our numbers. We always start from the top and go down. Oop, this one's floating, so I'm going to fix it. There we go. So there's my 16s. Remember, you're going to trace and then write. Now let's find 16. Now last time we started by where we had left off and then going 1 more. I'm going to do that again. So we just talked about 15. And I know 15 is a 1 and a 5. So if I go 1 more, I'm at 16. You could also count, or you could also count from 10. Let's see how many more than 10 16 is. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 is 10 plus 6. 6 more. Last time when we filled in for 15, when we did our 10 frames for 15, we filled in 5. If we fill in 1 more, we'll have 6. Let's see if when we fill in 6 of these frames and add it to our 10, we can make 16. So here I go, filling in my frames here. I'm doing 1 more and seeing if that will get us to 16. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So when we added 1 more frame each time, it brought us to the next number. So we know that 15 is, so we know that 15 is 1 more than 14, and 16 is 1 more than 15. We're adding 1 each time. That's why we're adding 1 frame each time. Wow, you guys, you're doing such an awesome job building these big numbers. I know this might be kind of tricky, but I am so impressed with how you're doing. Keep up the great work. I'll see you tomorrow.